Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Morning.
First thing is going to be slate of officers, and just to clarify, the officers change over in January. Sorry, no, right way. And all of our terms as directors end in May 1st. So we're going to start with the slate of officers, and I'd like a motion to go into executive session
So
to discuss personnel. All in favor?
Aye. So if you want, I'll introduce Rachel.
Sure.
Okay.
That would be great.
So as I guess most of you know, I'm an employee in Mid-Hudson Cablevision, sort of semi out of the picture a little bit, but I still am an employee there. Rachel started there 15 years ago.
Yeah.
About, and has worked her way up. She's now one of the senior managers at Mid-Hudson. We worked together a lot when I was active there, going through all the broadband grants and applying for utility poles and paperwork and just a barrage of, it was hard, and she got us through it. So that's what I have to say about
Do it again a little bit.
You're still doing it, right?
Yeah, lower, like, more county level now, but that's okay, because
Yeah.
it's easier to work with people who are right in your backyard than people from the state, so.
Right. So I don't know where you want to start.
Maybe we could introduce ourselves.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Me, I'm Jim Calvin, and I'm retired, although I have a freelance public relations business. Used to work for the Chamber of Commerce, used to work for the Register, used to work for the Statewide Trade Association. I just couldn't hold a job, so I decided to retire. I've been on the board here for 6 years or maybe 7.
I'm Tara Gay. I'm a small business owner in Hudson right down the street. I live in Quabbin. I've been on the board for a couple of years. I'm the treasurer here rather. And yeah.
And we met,
Yes.
I had a nice conversation with Rachel a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know Dave?
I know Dave.
Yeah, and I'm Andy Howard. I'm the CEDC attorney, local attorney here.
Good morning, Rachel. How are you?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm Riley, I'm the administrative assistant here.
Okay.
Mr. Hushik, I'm the administrative supervisor, so I do the board.
Yes.
She keeps us all together.
I'm the bookkeeper, Kat. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Right.
We've met on Martha Lane.
Okay.
I guess you could tell us maybe a little about your background and yourself, right?
Sure.
Which would apply.
Sure, so I started at Mid-Hudson 15 years ago. I started as an administrative assistant. It was a created position at the time for just office support. So I was pretty bored when I first started. And through the years, I just took on a little bit more. I'd say the grant was a really big breaking point for me in my career of, just proving that I had true value for, the projects and for broadband and for not so much cable anymore. We're kind of moving away from that, but broadband staying in that realm. And I kind of went through different positions. They keep me in human resources and I do payroll and things like that. Dave knows once you kind of start doing something at Mid-Hudson, if you do it right, they really never take it away, no matter how much more. So we kind of meshed the position into community and employee relations because I had so much to do with the community and going to supervisors meetings and legislators meetings and things like that in both counties. And also just on the very local level of just towns, every town we serve, I believe there's over 20 because, you have the small hamlets and things like that. And so I just always had to keep good relationships and open relationships with all the town supervisors and town officials. And through the years, most towns, especially the ones that are suffering with not having full access to broadband, have started broadband committees. So I've been able to consult on all of their committees for the most part. And then we keep me in the employee relations, just as far as work goes, the company goes. I also have been able to empower some employees that we have in the community role as well, bringing them to some of these meetings, letting them foster some of their own relationships with people, and, you know, just kind of having more than one person that someone in the community can reach out to, whatever level that may be. And that also kind of works in the way of public relations, because, you know, I'll be the one that will do press releases and things like that, give comment if we're ever asked on, you know, certain news articles or whatever. I go to all the roundtables. Lately, there's been quite a few broadband roundtables with local politics. You know, I went to one in Columbia County earlier this year with Mark Molinaro to address the broadband needs in Columbia County specifically. And so, yeah, my role is ever evolving, I feel like. I have joined a few different boards on behalf of Mid-Hudson Cable, so I'm the secretary on the Greene County Chamber of Commerce. And I also am the secretary to the Catskill Community Center, which has now, the center closed during COVID and never came back, but we evolved into a granting organization for the town of Catskill. So I'm still on that, and I've just, you know, been looking for a way to get more involved in Columbia County. And when Dave mentioned, you know, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get to know people here better. I was originally from Columbia County. I went to Taconic Hills, graduated in 2005. My family still all lives here in Clawbrook, pretty much. And I just moved to Catskill during my time at Mid-Hudson and married my now husband, who's a Greene County employee. And that's about it. I mean,
One of the boards you're on is the workforce.
oh yes, I did join the workforce. That's like a newer one. So I'm on the Columbia Greene Workforce Board, very large board. It has like 30 some individuals on it that they try to keep very balanced between Columbia and Greene County. But it's not as easy for me to form like connections there as I would like, because it is so large, and it is, they meet quarterly. So it's just, you're kind of fewer and far between everybody that you meet. So, you know, I like the idea of things that meet more regularly, things that have committees that meet regularly, things like that, where I can really make some connections.
Thanks.
That's a lot.
So you're over in Catskill?
Yeah, I live in Catskill.
Okay, but you work there in town, so this meeting wouldn't, or do you work?
Well, we have a building in Hudson,
Yeah.
and we have a building in Catskill also, so a lot of, you know, our managers and stuff end up having to split their time depending on the needs of the departments in each building.
Yeah, I think that fits our parameters of place. And I know you come from a family that's always has a lot of civic involvement.
Yeah, yep. My mom has been the executive director for Columbia County Community Action, which is Columbia Opportunities, for over 30 years here in Hudson. So I was telling Sarah, you know, 10 years old, like forced into voluntold right from the start. So, but I've stuck with it, and I really enjoy that aspect of the job with Mid-Hudson also, because last year we gave over $100,000 back into the community. And I've been able to be involved with all of that and form all those connections, deliver all those checks, run all those fundraisers, whatever it may be. And it's been nice.
Can we get clarification on that? Let's do it now rather than later, but Rachel lives in Greene County, works for Mid-Hudson, who has offices in both Greene County and Columbia County, but her office is in Greene County. So is that a problem?
Well, I think Mid-Hudson's a member of
They're a member.
the CEDC, so
Yeah.
I don't think there's any issue
Okay,
with that.
okay, we're good.
And I asked Andy about a residence of someone else before. He
Right.
says it doesn't matter where you live.
Right. Okay,
Do you have any questions for?
I don't, I worked with her for 15 years. I highly recommend her.
She had good words to say about you too.
Okay. Well, in the beginning, when she first started here, she was taking on this paperwork role with all these grants. And it was baffling, like, especially if you don't know, because what we're building is wires on utility poles. And this is the paperwork for that. And how do you understand what it is? So she would go with me out in the truck and out and look at these utility poles and, okay, this one's got room for a wire and that one doesn't, and learning the nuts and bolts of it, right?
Yeah, and by the end, I was able to put on a safety vest and go out by myself if I had to, and, tromp through an
Yeah.
easement
She did learn that.
and, but that's the best way I feel like to learn is, I told Dave, I wanted to know exactly, like, what am I doing? What am I applying for? What are these, what is everything that I'm doing? I want to know
Yeah,
so that I have a full understanding of how things work. And, that's when we went out and did, and I practice the same way with the staff now. Our engineering department has grown immensely because of how much we're building. And that small part to my job at one time has now become a full-time job for another person who I had to train. And, I do the same thing with her. So she goes out in the field, anything she doesn't understand, I put her on all the calls. I bring her to meetings often. At some point you might see her, just because I want her to see everything that I saw to get where I am.
Right. Okay. Any other questions?
I mean, just as long as the meeting times, that's always my concern, the
Yeah.
meeting times are, convenient for you.
Yeah, I
Around
think you said they were the last Tuesday of the month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then one
And then a
committee, which also meets at 8, they all meet at 8:30.
there's four committees that you'd be expected to be on, at least one.
Yep.
Maybe more.
no, I mean, this is work time for me, so, and Mid-Hudson understands, and they,
Yeah.
they would love to continue being involved in the CEDC, Mid-Hudson would, so they're understanding to the time commitments that would take me away from the office.
I don't remember. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And certainly with the work we're doing with the county on broadband, having Rachel on the board and continuing to have a direct connection with Mid-Hudson as well as like we have with our other providers is very important.
Yes. Definitely. Okay,
Thanks, Rachel.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you all.
Take care.
Way overqualified.
Overqualified, great job. 10 out of 10.
So how would this
Alright.
work? She would come on to fill one of the vacancies,
Yes,
but she wouldn't replace you on the board.
No, there's 2 vacancies right now.
Right. So you would both remain on the board until May, when you step off. Is that the way it would work?
I guess so, yeah, unless you
Well,
don't
he's
want
not,
to hear.
she's
no,
not
no,
connected
she
to.
takes someone
Jim
else's place,
But
either,
he's referring to 2 people from Mid-Hudson, right?
Right. So
Oh,
there'd be
no.
a few months of overlap.
Yeah,
there's nothing that says you can't have 2 people
Right.
from the
believe me, if
same.
it's a problem, I'll leave.
No, I don't, I just want to, I'm not saying it's a problem. I just want to understand. how it's-
Yeah,
She would be replacing Jim Henson, not or Jim Benson,
Joe.
Joe
Joe
Benson.
Benson, sorry, I've
Benson.
only seen him like
Jim
twice.
Benson.
I've seen him twice in this whole time.
No, you don't see
You
him.
know, I don't know him, but,
He's out west fishing or something.
okay, so he would be replacing, or she would be
She would-
replacing him.
I don't know,
Potentially.
do we choose which slot well, we have one other person to do. To
Because she is
discuss
still on an
also.
unexpired term, right?
Yes.
Okay,
We have one
I don't know
other,
which one. I usually put him on the oldest, the one that's been vacant, the
The
one.
longest.
so
I
when you
usually put him in that one. so we
Yeah.
have-
all right,
Okay.
we have one other person to discuss. Do you want to go into executive session, discuss the other person?
Yes, I would move we go into executive session.
Okay, and then we can vote on them both together.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we did not approve the minutes yet for August 15th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, you're slipping, Jim. You're slipping.
You got beat that time.
All right, okay, we have two people to vote on. The first is Rachel Plunkett.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve, or we recommend Rachel Puckett to the full board.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. She would be a wonderful addition.
We don't necessarily need to vote on the second person, do we?
We just don't.
Okay, so you're not recommending,
Okay,
or we're not making a decision.
Just
all right,
do nothing.
Right.
okay.
I agree.
There's no reason to even bring it up.
Okay.
Board and committee attendance, I think you had it in your packets. I don't think there's anything to notice particularly. Other business. Public comment. Motion to
Well,
adjourn.
just with regard to the slate of officers, do you want to do something here? You went and
Oh, yes.
spoke about it, but you didn't take any action.
Yeah, we should. Yes.
Well, we have a proposal for slate of officers of Chair Jim Calvin, Vice Chair Rick Rector, Treasurer Tara Gay, and Secretary Mike Malinsky.
I'll make a motion, we recommend the slate of officers.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, congratulations, and I'll call Mike.
All right.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's a great combination.
Thank you,
Rachel
everyone.
should have a full board meeting, we should have her come.
No,
No?
we put it forward and we vote on it, then she comes to the meeting after that.
Okay.
We're gonna have two Rachels.
Oh, that's right.
What's that?
We're gonna have
Rachel,
two.
That's unusual.
that's me.
That we are,
I think both your recommends too,
they are.
so.
Don't bring us any
Keep
more.
the
Rachel.
Rachel,
All right.
or maybe one more Rachel.
We need a farmer, we need an insurance agent, but we don't need any more Rachels.
All right, we'll
We,
find
uh,
out what,
You know, I do think that, I'm very supportive of, the manager from, Graylocks, but, and Rachel as well, but, again, looking for small business owners, in the county who, as someone once told me, signs the front of the check, not the back of the check is important, because we do have a number of not-for-profit executives and people who are employees of major companies in the county, but the continued opportunity to identify people who actually own their own business in the county is important to an organization like this from my perspective. So I do encourage us to continue with 17 board members. There's certainly room for everyone, but I do think when we kind of take a demographic look, do we have people from different parts of the county? Do we have people from different sectors of industry? But also I think business ownership is something that, we lose once we focus in on not-for-profits, professionals, and senior executives from larger businesses.
what about, if we send out you were worried out if we send a letter to all our members, but if we send our
That's a problem
membership,
because we only have 17 seats. And if we got 25 and, 5 of those people were our top dollar members and you pick someone else, you could really put yourself in a pickle.
I have a question from before. I believe Martha had said that there might be someone that you've worked with in the past or, as a loan recipient in the past, if there was anyone from that pool. That came up like several meetings ago.
I can pull together a list.
If you have anyone that springs out at you.
That would be great. We could sometimes we sent the member list around to the directors. Just to see if they knew anybody on our membership list.
I would say also, Mark, that may be a long shot, but I'm just thinking from the micro business seminars. I mean, not all of those people are complete newbies. Some of them do have established businesses, or they did, and it's been a few years, so now they're more entrenched in the county, because those are your kind of small business owner entrepreneurs. So that would be a possible goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we have a vacancy now, and then there's going to be 3 more in April. We've got 3 more, 1 now, 3 more in April, maybe 4. So
Right.
we
It's
got to really
ever-changing.
scramble here. Because that's not that far away, but this committee does meet in both January and February. Okay. Anything else anybody can think of? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Thank you,
favor?
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mike.
sir.